The sixth race of the BMW IBSF Women's Skeleton World Cup. We are in the winter wonderland of snowy Sigulda in Latvia. Wonderful if you like sleet and fog, that is, during race day. But we are ready for the second and deciding heat of the final race of 2021. Here we are. Eventually we get to New Year's Eve and the second heat is about to get underway. Martin Haven and with me Greg West. Looking forward to seeing a thoroughly entertaining second heat. We've got some familiar names in the frame.
Yeah, the local boys are doing really well. Sitting in third place, bronze medal position right now. Thomas Dukers had a really good run with one small hiccup on the exit of turn 11. That's why he finds himself in bronze medal position right now. It's 0.03 of a second behind Singi Young of Korea. Singi had a great start, fastest start of the competition, 4.50. That's a great way to give yourself an opportunity to win a medal, and a solid run down the track as well. So he's got a 0.03 of a second gap over Thomas Dukers, but if he's looking forward and wanting to win this race, he has 0.33, just over 0.3 of a second to go catch this man. Superman Martin Dukers put on an absolute clinic down this track. You didn't hear any noise. It sounded like a luge sled. You never saw him really steer. He just had good start, great speed, great lines, and that's why he is sitting in gold medal position after the first heat.
Well, here's the man who won 2 races here at the beginning of last season and finished in the bronze medal, silver medal position a couple of seasons before that, having won the European Championships 2 years ago here. So he's already completed victory in the last 3 races. Jung in second place. That's the real outlier. That's a very interesting run. Ahead of Thomas Dukers by a whisker. And maybe Nikita Chegabov, Yevgeny Rokishchev will catch from behind. Possibly not Alexander Gassner. Further down the order, though, the cutoff at Kim Ji-soo of Korea. Behind him, Gung, Alderset, Kinoshita, Neufeld. And the rest of them do not get a second run. So a couple of rookies in the field. Luca Dafay does not get a second run, but our new young Canadian does. Blake Enzi will go off 3 after the start of the field. So there's Sammy Meyer, everybody else limbering up in the car park at the base of the tower. And that gantry overhead is the track going from the right to your left of picture. Other way around, going from the left to the right of your picture. Yes, it does, doesn't it? And you sort of never really get that from the camera shots, but you do really see it when you walk the track, just how significant some of the drops are. So here is our start list then. We go 20 down to 1, last to fast. Both heats count. And of course, unless you have a dead heat, and we don't have any here, each slider that follows you will have a slight or greater advantage over you. So hopefully we get to the end with the first heat leader battling to hang on and claim the gold medal. Be interesting to see who gets the other metalwork here, though. Final slide of the season, of 2021 at least, for Kim Ji-soo of Korea. 20th place in the first heat and ready to go in race 6 of the BMW IBSF Men's Skeleton World Cup. Martin Haven and Greg West watching the action as the Korean, who was 3rd fastest in the first heat, goes just a whisker slower.
4.54 getaway compared to his 4.52 in the first heat. He had the 3rd fastest start time in the first heat. Now, I think he had a combination of, he had a 20th start draw, so he had some pretty rough ice to go with. Didn't have the sheen that we're seeing in the track right now. And I think you're going to see something that's more indicative of his talent level as he's coming down the track. He will set the benchmark and let us know what this track is doing when we compare it to his first run.
Yeah, it was a little surprising to see him so far back. He was sort of top 10 material a couple of seasons ago. Then the Koreans only returned to World Cup racing after Christmas this year, 2021. So they had sort of a part season back home in Pyeongchang. 50.95, well, that's 7/10 better. That gets 2 thumbs up from Katsuhiro Koshi. That's almost unheard of. That's a big, big step up for Kim.
He had great speed at the bottom of the hill, had 115 kilometers an hour versus 112 in the first heat, so 3 kilometers an hour faster into the uphill section of the track. So that really stretches things out. Great looking run, and we'll see if everybody else is as fast as he is compared to their first heat. See, exit of turn 1 here, comes out. He hung the sled up a little bit on the exit of 1 and clips that right wall. We're going to see that more than once during the rest of the heat. And then exit turn 14. He looks cool, calm, and collected. Little bump on the wall there as he gets it over to the left. Not the end of the world, though. Pretty solid run.
So many hazards in this track, Greg West, that it's so easy to trip over 1 or 2 of them and suddenly your run is done. And that could have happened to any of these athletes in the first heat just as easily as it might in the second. So where you are is not necessarily where you're going to end up. 200ths faster in heat 1. Marcus Wyatt, 19th place. And he also came in the top 20 in the start draw, right at the tail of that. Just a little over-rotation as he loads.
He missed the saddle with his right hand.
Yeah.
So 4:58 getaway. Once again, we're just talking about Marcus. We're waiting to see that breakout result. It just seems a little bit off in the upper portion of the track.
Yeah, had another big hit from 3 going into 4, the left, right, up at the top of the track, right, left even.
Lefts and rights are hard.
Yeah.
Especially on this track where it's just like a washing machine all the way down.
Yeah.
He's starting to put it together, though, at the bottom of the track here. Still back 0.3 of a second, so I don't know that he's going to be able to hold this position.
No, he'll drop to 20th spot. So Kim Ji-soo may well move up the order, but Marcus, I'm afraid, consigned to the bottom of the top 20. He won't drop any lower because nobody outside the 20 gets the second heat. That used to be the case often in the past, particularly in places like St. Moritz. You'd be presenting the medals with sleds going past in the background as sleds outside the top 20 just continued racing on down. But after the fog in the first heat, we've got the return of snow, and yeah. Oof.
He pushed faster with that load. So think how fast he would have pushed.
Yeah, I think the push faster and the missed load might be not necessarily unrelated. Here's the first hit, and, you know, for all the extra hundreds you find at the start, you just wipe them off on the wall there, don't you?
Yeah, and then same thing, exit turn 15, going a steep uphill. This is the race to forget for Marcus.
Mm-hmm. Walks away to the changing area. Next up, Blake Enzie, 20 years old, from Calgary, Alberta. Told the story in the first heat of how he was on a school trip to Canada Olympic Park, and they were on a kind of treasure hunt, part of which took him around the bobsleigh skeleton track, which existed then. And he was so intrigued, he went back, contacted Alberta Skeleton, and started working in the start house. Age 13 and 20 years old, he makes his World Cup debut. 4:73, that's a pretty acceptable start. 4:71 in the first heat, not lost much in that second getaway.
Now, an impressive first heat from Blake. He was not rattled. He went off pretty late and still managed to pull out 18th fastest time. We saw a lot of people really struggling with the deteriorating ice conditions. So if he can put down a banger like he did before, he's got a chance to move up. Fastest speed going into 11. Yeah. It's looking good so far.
2900s behind Kim Ji-soo, but could overhaul Marcus Wyatt. Even if Kim gets by him, want to hold his position as much as possible. The speed's not quite there.
He clipped the roof again.
Yeah, the only man to hit it, not once but twice. And across the line, 5700s back. Well, that's 300s better than his first heat, which is not a vast improvement compared to Kim Ji-soo, but the critical factor is the first heat got him into the race, and 11 of the 31 starters didn't even do that. So that is a huge World Cup debut.
A great run from, great weekend for Blake. We see him here in entrance at turn 13. A little rough here on the exit. Call this the party line. He's going to hang it up here. He should be higher than he is now, and the sled just raises up on the end. I'll see the reverse angle, and you get that really rough on take into turn 14. And then down into 15, what is it? Excuse me while I kiss the sky. He definitely did. Got up there, touched the woodwork. And I've been saying it for the women's race and the men's race. Got to go get up near the roof. He took it literally.
And he was here in the Intercontinental Cup race a couple of weeks ago. So 2 weekends where he can go to Mr. Biscuits. Not a bad season, all things considered.
Not a bad deal.
Next up, Mattia Gaspari of Italy. Interesting battle on with his teammate Amadeo Bagnis for the points position. 700s, but 4 spots behind Amadeo, and it's the points that he needs.
Yeah, this is the part of the season, like I said in the first heat, where teammates might become enemies, because if you're only going to get 1 spot in the games, it's mano a mano between teammates, and where they finish directly affects you. So all you can do is go out and execute to the best of your ability, but it's a little bit difficult to not creep over and peek over at the timesheet and see where they're at. So
yeah,
second fastest speed for Gaspari, though, to the middle of the track. So he's put down a pretty good run so far.
Well, he definitely needs to try and hold his position, because he can't really rely on Amadeo dropping 5 spots. 300s in front. This is going to be nip and tuck with Kim Ji-soo. Little late flop there could cost him. Keeps it clean into the Kreisel, and at the line, 1500s up.
I think Mattia took the party line in 15 as well, and might have some woodwork in his left shoulder.
3700s of an improvement. That is a good second heat for Mattia. But at least he is still competing a month out from the games, because 4 years ago, he wasn't competing a year out from the games.
Didn't quite get the woodwork, but he definitely was up there and dove out a little too early. So now there's still corner left, and he's in the flat. And that's why you see him get picked back up there at the end. Drop a runner. He handled it really well. I've seen sleds go over there a number of times.
Right now in men's skeleton, Italy do have a 2-sled allocation, but just in case maybe Ukraine or maybe the USA, Ukraine won't, maybe the USA might creep ahead of them. If everything goes all right, you want to make sure that you're the #1 pick. Well, Yang Wengang of China in 16th place, 200s ahead of Mattia Gaspari. Bearing in mind, there was over 2¼ seconds between first and 31st in one heat. To get this clump of athletes that are literally hundreds apart, as you would expect maybe in somewhere like Altenburg or Innsbruck, is quite a grouping of equal talents.
Absolutely. 465 for Yan. So good start time for him. And he's really just needs to be a little bit cleaner than he was. He made a number of mistakes on the first heat. I know that it seems like obvious, but the thing with Sigulda is don't make the big mistake. Moritz, he's doing a pretty good run right now. Second fastest speed through turn 11, so he's definitely got something going for him. He needs to be clean on the exit of 13 if he wants to stay green numbers. And he is.
You can hear absolutely non-stop scratching of the toes all the way down.
Boy, the track's definitely faster because they're really struggling with turn 15. He's back in the red. He was in the lead until that moment right there, and he'll drop 2 spots.
Oh. So Mattia climbs 1. And as I said, the deal between him and his teammate Amadeo Banias is Banias has a 110-point lead. So he needs, actually Mattia needs a very big advantage in the next 2 or 3 races to really overhaul his teammate. But actually only takes 1 bad first run.
Boy,
just
really
by the woodwork.
I mean, I love the brave line. It's like horseshoe in St. Moritz. You got to go up near the woodwork, but you have to get it all the way around the corner. You don't want the height there. You want the height about 6 feet further.
Well, look, it's like what they say about flying. Any fool can take off. It's the landing where you earn the big bucks. And that's the deal with horseshoe. You can get up there. It's getting down. That's the deal. Mattia Gaspari leads after our first 5 sleds. 5 down, 15 to go here in Sigulda, Latvia, with Sami Meyer of Austria next up. 15th after the first heat. Current leader is Mattia Gaspari of Italy, who was 17th, just 6 hundredths of a second faster Sami Meyer. So tiny increments we're talking about here. And again, the bunny hop as he settles on, or doesn't settle on the sled.
That is dangerous. Somebody needs to talk to him about that. That's a great way to ruin a race by kicking the sled to a skid on the start ramp. Now, Sami drove himself
trying to make things exciting. He did.
Yeah. There's plenty of excitement at 1,200 meters of the Sigulda track. You don't need to add something to it on the start ramp. Fastest speed going into 11.
Best result here, a 13th place. He was 15th after the first heat. Huge looping height there.
these guys are absolutely sending it down the track right now. I will not be surprised if he has big height here as well. Nope, ran the low line. Ooh, I was wrong.
So that's the final corner in Innsbruck line there. Barely out of the gutter, shortening the distance to the line, but it doesn't help him here, and he plunges down the order, 51.45. Well, Mattia sort of celebrating the fact that he remains in the leader's box and picks off a couple who were very close. And as you said, Sammy only 0.06 of a second faster in the first heat. So a couple of errors combined, and that's cost him plenty here. That's big and high. That grew on him fast, didn't it?
I like diving it out of 12, but maybe not that much, because then you have that issue right there where you clip the wall before 13. You definitely don't want to do that. That pushes everything around, and we see it manifest itself on the exit of turn 14 with that little bit of height, and that's why he comes over and clips the wall. So not the run that he was looking for.
Yeah. All right, so Mattia Gaspari leads as we get to our second Italian, Amedeo Bagnis. So Mattia, 29 years old, Amedeo, 22, the younger of the two sliders and the faster of the starters.
And the scarier of the helmet.
Yeah, 16th place in his one race here last season. Didn't do both of them. 4:58, he knows he needs that start.
But then he drove it right into the wall on the exit of turn 1 and just negated that entire advantage. So he was up 2,200s. We'll check the next split. Well, he maintained 2,300s, but you would expect him to pull away. So will it come back on this split? Maintaining, so he's doing something right. He's driving well. So he drove around, one mistake. Up, clips before 13. He's gonna have to drive really hard here.
Mattia had the best speed of all at the bottom. The gap is down to 0.03 of a second. Not fast enough. He is going to lose at least one space to his teammate. Bagnis in the red, and he's not going to drive it back from the 7th best speed, and hits the wall to add insult to injury. And, you know, there's the tough moment when you're happy for yourself that you're moving up the order, but at the expense of your teammate. And, you know, these are small teams. It's not like there's 50 guys on the sidelines and you don't really know the kicker, or you've never really met the sort of second guard. You know, these guys live in each other's pockets.
Yeah, it's on race day, though, national colors are second. You are there as an individual. You're competing for yourself. So you're never upset to see yourself go around your teammate, because the race within a race is always in the back of your mind. So
like they always
it'll be interesting to watch these two the rest of the season.
If you can't beat your teammate, you're never going to win anything. So Amedeo Bagnis slips 4 spots, or 3 spots down to 4th place. Mattia Gaspari continues to lead as we get to the 13th fastest slider in the first heat. And Vladislav Heraskevich boasting a huge 1/10 of a second advantage. Clearly a 1/10 of a second isn't huge, but in the tight confines of this pack of athletes, it sort of is.
4:72 start time for Vlad, so he improves by over a 1/10 of a second. He's fired up.
That's a big 10.
Let's go, Vlad. So that is going to help him a lot. Now, this is his home track. He's had a season that he is not really happy with, and he needs a coming out party, and really to bring a lot of momentum in the last 3 races of the season, which takes momentum into the games. Fastest speed of the competition so far through the middle of the track.
Best
now
speed, he's really clean early on, and he's just driving away from Gaspari now. The gap grows with every split.
1:16.7, huge speed through 15. So he's going to be your leader. Now the question is, how far will he move up?
And this is what he does occasionally, just produces a stunning run. And you think, okay, get a few more of those. 50.71. Yeah.
Now that's the run.
Dad, Mikhail, looked happier that time, didn't he, Greg?
Yeah, that's the run that Vlad's needed all season. Look at that smile.
Yeah.
You know, he seems like he's just been unhappy with everything and learning the new sled and the stress of Olympic year. And finally, he just throws down the run that he knows he's capable of. And that puts a lot of pressure on the people in front of him.
Well, he improves by 0.6 of a second. If he'd been 0.6 of a second faster in the first heat, he'd have been 4th.
Nice looking drive out of turn 15. That's how you have to do it. He got it around the corner and dove out with authority. And
there you go.
Happy with that.
All right, so Axel Jung for Germany next up. Hasn't raced here for a couple of seasons. It's his second World Cup here in December 2018. His only previous appearance, he finished in 8th position. 54th World Cup start, should be over 60, but he only started one World Cup race and one Europa Cup race last year.
That's what Axel could do here on the start ramp. 462. So a little bit faster than the 465 he had in the first heat, but this time he was cleaner from 1 to 2. And you listen to this German sled, it is so quiet. I don't know what they're doing, if they've changed something, but all these German sleds have been super quiet today, and it's working for them.
Yep. Well, the less noise means less vibration. Less vibration means the runners are in more constant contact with the ice.
Well, he was in contact with the ice in the left wall in the exit to turn 11. That's not the fast line. He's 1,800 up. We'll check here. Already back. 700's back. He's going to have to be perfect here, but 8th fastest speed. He will fall. Vlad's going to be your leader. The question is, how far will Axel fall? Can he stay?
Well, first per second is 4,200, so it's going to have to be a big loss of time. It is a big loss of time. Gaspari gets another spot.
Wow.
Christian Bauder,
Exit to turn 11. That's what did it. He had a hot run going. I absolutely jinxed him. Sorry, Axel.
That was just 5,600 slower on that run than Vladislav Heraskevich.
Exit 11 comes out and clips that wall, and that's just speed out of the sled. And when we're, approaching top 10 on the World Cup, you can't make that mistake. He's on the wrong side of the track going in at 13. He has to steer really, really hard in order to get out of it cleanly, but that's just speed out of the sled, and then insult to injury comes over and taps left out of 14.
Is there anywhere else you race, Greg, where mistakes cost you so much time?
Happy New Year, everyone.
I mean, every track has its pitfalls. I just think there's a lot of pitfalls at the Sigulda track.
I think you might be right. Next up, our start record holder, Yun Cheng from China. 4:51 was actually the second fastest start today. 4:50 was the fastest. And the start record, 4:47. We have seen improvements in the second over the first starts. Does he get any closer? 4:43. Yes. Wow. Does he ever?
That'll work. And he's clean out of turn 1, so he doesn't throw it all away like he did in the first heat.
And what about 3 to 4? Little dink on the way into 4, so some of that goes away, but he's half a second up on Vladislav Heraskevich.
It's a little wild, but he hasn't made a big mistake. It's okay to be a little bit wild. He's got to be clean through here. 4th fastest speed. If he's clean out of 11, he has a chance. He is clean out of 11. And a nice 1:12 now.
Was fastest all the way down, though. And the gaps come down from half a second to under a quarter. 10th best speed, and he's off. All too much for him to handle. When you said the last day of training, that's half the runs. The track was much slower, and it shows 51.7, only the 10th best run of 10 sleds. So the fastest starter on the planet on this track produces the slowest run of the heat.
That's how quick he can get away from it. He definitely had a little bit of a cowboy line the whole way down the track.
Yeah.
It was a little sloppy, but it was working for him. But yeah, just too much early height in 15. Then comes out of the corner. There's a lot of corner left. This doesn't actually hurt. It's frustrating, but it's a nice, easy rollover. He does a nice job of holding onto the sled, getting back on it. Hitting the wall like that hurts.
Yeah, that bit hurts.
The second hit hurts. The first one wasn't bad. But, man, too bad for him. He's got a heck of a future in the sport, though.
And the good news is a 51.76 would not have qualified him for the race in the first heat. So the second heat is the time for the loose one to let go. So he remains in the top 20. Yun Cheng in 9th place with 10 to go, but Vladislav Heraskevich is our leader, 2 away from a career-equaling best result. So again, mistakes here cost so much. So often we talk about maybe a track like Innsbruck or Winterberg, you know, where they go to next week. Big mistake. Oh, yes, that's going to cost them a hundredth or two, or maybe a tenth. Here, it can cost you half a second.
Yeah, the difference between Sigulda and places like Innsbruck is when you make a mistake in Innsbruck, people don't even really see it. When you make a mistake here, you don't just hit the wall. It likes to pick you up and throw you into the wall, as we have seen. So the mistakes are definitely magnified here. Plus, it's such a technical track. There are so many places that want to do just that, pick you up and throw you into the wall. We've seen, you know, dramas on the exit of turn 1. It's the most innocuous looking corner on the track, and yet it's super technical and difficult. We see him struggling in 3 to 4, a lot of people clipping. And then, of course, the exit of 11 and exit of 13. There's been plenty of drama on those corners as well. And then the Chinese athlete just flips the sled on the exit of 15. So there's plenty of places to throw it away on this track, but there's not that many places to get it back.
Yeah, isn't that the truth? We just saw a great view there of the sort of organization of how athletes and sleds meet at the line. The athlete is the last component to arrive. Coach will often bring the sled to the line and hold it there while the athlete remains warm in the dressing room, or in this case, rides the elevator up, and then get to the line a couple of minutes before your due time and wait for the start clock to go. So a little moment to focus. And this is where it goes from being all about everybody else. The moment that you pull the helmet on, that's where you're in your happy place, or at least hopefully where you're focusing on the race, on your line, thinking about your start, how you're going to get out of the groove into turn 1, and just imagining your way down the track. 10 down, 10 to go here in Sigulda in Latvia. There's your current race leader, Vladislav Heraskevich, 13th after the first heat. Next to take on this sinuous Latvian track, Vladislav Semenov, 18th best start at the top, but a good first heat, Greg West, to put him into 10th place.
Yeah, the Russians, too, this used to be their home track, and to where a lot of them took their first runs. I would guess that Semenov did the same here as his teammate Kanakina did earlier today. So he really drove himself into the heat with a slower start time by Russian standards. He's got almost 3/10 in the bank right now. The question is, can he overhaul Vlad?
Skidding from 3 to 4, not just hitting, but a big broadside slide into 4. The speed's gone away. 1600s remain. Listen to the toes.
Nice dive into 13.
Lots of steering. 300s in it.
He's gonna fall back.
And Heraskevich still has the best speed at the bottom. He's tied and into the red. The Kreisel isn't going to help him. He doesn't have the speed on board, and he hits the wall and loses by 1200ths of a second. Okay, so Vladislav Heraskevich, yeah, that's still a good result for him. 11th place. Where was he last time here? He hasn't raced in World Cup here, but he had 3 Europa Cup races previously on this track.
So the accelerating line out of 12 into 13, take it up to the roof and dive it out parallel. Does a nice job with the entrance there. On World Cup scene, it is so difficult to drive around a deficient start time. He has the 18th fastest start in the first heat and drove around it to have the 10th fastest time. He finishes 11th today. That's a quality run. He's going to get more experience driving. He's going to get hopefully faster starting. The Russians have a great start facility, and I think the future's bright for him.
And what about this man, the defending Olympic champion, Sun Bin Young of Korea? Well, he's not defending it yet, but he will be in just over 5 weeks from now as we get to the start of the Beijing Winter Games. Half a season last year, not quite, because the Koreans were stuck at home up until the Christmas-New Year break. Same as the Canadians joined in for the second half of the season. And has been a little downbeat season this year for a man so used to winning.
From 4:59 getaway, it's a good start time. It's not the 4:43 that came from his counterpart a little while ago. But he just didn't have the speed earlier, you know, that we're used to seeing at him. And that's being really nitpicky. A quality first run, you know, he's sitting in 8th place. But just little things here and there. His head was up. He just didn't look confident. Little clip into 11. That's not going to help him. He hit hard enough and actually pulled his bib off.
Yeah.
It's pulled his bib off his
37
right shoulder.
medals in 55 World Cup starts, none this year. And he is going to sink like a stone.
Man, did not expect this season from you.
Lowest speed of all at the bottom. And he may have to walk up to the finish line. 51.91. Slower even than Yin of China.
Ties Marcus
And
Wyatt.
again, yeah, 51.91 would not have got him anywhere near a second heat. Well, once you've got into the top 20, then you can hang it out a bit more, but it didn't work
There's the
for him,
hit.
Greg.
You can't hit going into 11 like that. You want to be parallel, but you can't touch. It pushes you away. You get the big loops. And then here, big loop going into 13. But the damage was already done on the entrance of 11. You have to work so hard at that point. Coaching staff knows it. And as we've said a million times in this race, it happens that quick here in Sigulda.
All right. So Sun Bin Young, I said we didn't have any ties. We did have a tie between the Olympic champion and a two-time world champion, Christopher Groothair. Earlier on this season, Groothair claimed his second career win. That was the three-way gold medal tie. A historic day in Innsbruck and a historic day for Groothair because now his World Cup win tally of 2 matches his World Championship win tally.
It's always
59. Yeah.
That's an interesting stat to have.
Well, it was interesting when Mariama won her first World Cup race here, then she tied her Olympic gold medal tally as well, finally.
Winning on the big stage.
Winning the
where you wanna
Olympics first and then trifle around in the World Cup afterwards. 12th speed for Christopher Groothair, second slowest. Let's just put that out there. He's not going to hang on, is he? No, he's going back.
Absolutely. That'd be perfect here. And it's down to 1100.
This is a career equaling high for Vladislav Heraskevich. He's going to lead with 7 to go. He is going to lead with 7 to go. Vlad's best ever race result previously has been 8th place in Lake Placid in 2016. 5 years later, he equals it and may yet improve because we're a long way from Kansas here. This is not your usual track.
Entrance at turn 13. The line looks good. Maybe he had to drive a little too much. He was down on speed all the way down the track, hung it up a little bit, but you got to trust it. See the reverse angle a little bit abrupt into 14. That's being picky. I think the damage was already done at that point. I'm curious if we missed something in the transition 10 to 11 or something like that because his speed just was way down as soon as he got to the middle of the track.
I wonder about the FES sleds here because the women were middle of the pack and the men are kind of middle of the pack as well, aren't they? Whereas normally the FES is so well dialed in everywhere. Might just be lack of experience here that's hindering them. Well, here, 7th place after the first heat, and definitely with eyes not looking behind at Vladislav Heraskevich, who was 2900s back, but looking forward at a top 6 finish is Britain's Matt Weston. The fastest start in the first heat with a 4:54. Does it again.
Nice looking start from Matt. Like I said, first heat, nothing seems to bother the skid. He's a little bump on the wall there. He's fine. Doesn't bother him. He's eyes forward. Little bump on the wall there. Okay, Matt, you need to stop doing that. You're up a half second. Come on.
Yeah. Well, Heraskevich giving away a lot of the start as well. 1800ths of a second. But look at the speed. Again, no speed aboard. Last 3 sleds have basically been the slowest 3 sleds at the top of the track.
Well, the track is definitely deteriorating. Yeah, track's going away. There's no shine to it anymore. 8th fastest there, and he's not having a perfect run. He has definitely made some mistakes. I can't blame this one completely on the Black Rock, but it's probably not helping his cause.
No, he is swinging from the hips all the way down and comes back. 3 spots lost. 4th position, 51.22. So 2100ths of a second slower. All right, I'm going to say this now, and it's not a phrase I've often contemplated using. Is Vladislav Heraskevich going to take a medal this afternoon?
I think he's going to finish. I think he's going to move up one more spot. I don't know which of the people above him are going to drop, but this track is going away. I'm not saying that somebody's going to have a bad performance, but the track is, you look at it, there's no shine on it anymore. It looks like snow.
Yeah. Hello everyone back at home. Miss you all.
See, Matt's just always happy.
Miss you too, Matt. He is always happy, isn't he?
He drops 3 spots.
Heriskevich leads, 6 to go. Alexander Gassner was 700s ahead of Matt Weston, but he was 3600s up on Vladislav Heriskevich. Similar start, Vlad starting 483, 469 in the first heat for Gassner, 469 in the second, so he adds to his advantage. Let's see if he can find some pace.
You can see the steam around the track, or the fog, I should say.
And you can see the runner marks, and only like 3 or 4 sets of them in the frost, and that's a great indication. Like when you stick your hand on the freezer compartment and it sticks, that's what's happening to the runners here. They're not gliding freely.
Big skid going into 12. That's going to hurt his time. He was 4 tenths up, then 3 tenths up. We'll check it here. 1800s is going the wrong way.
Oh, it's going.
Third fastest speed,
Third best speed, though.
It'll be close.
Is he going to hang on?
Really, really close. 1200s. I think he's going to hold it.
He might just have enough in hand to take the lead. Stays off the wall and does. 50.96. All right, so almost the minute that I asked the question, it is answered. Alexander Gassner takes the lead with 5 to go.
No, he'll be happy with that. Top 6.
Yeah.
Not been a great weekend for the Germans. We see him here in turn 11. He's on the exit. He's going to overdrive it a little bit, or underdrive it, I should say, and he kicks himself into a skid going into 12. Then coming out of 15 or 14 here, a little bit of a runner drop. We've seen that all day. Handles it pretty well. He had the 3rd fastest speed going into 15, so he did something right. Look at the confidence, and that's what you need to see here. His feet are together, and his head is down, and that's what you have to do down the 110-meter straightaway into 15. Get down and get fast.
2nd and 5th here last season. Alexander Gassner, our current leader, but has not had a medal this season at all. 15 down, 5 to go. Race 6 of the BMW IBSF Men's Skeleton World Cup. We are in Sigulda in Latvia, and Yevgeny Rukashwev, race winner here 2 weeks ago at the 2nd tier of sliding, the Intercontinental Cup. Beat Felix Kaisinger of Germany. And this home ice for the Russian athletes. They spend at least as much time here as they do back in Sochi.
4:57 get away from the Guinea. Once again, the Russian athletes are all pretty quick off the start ramp. Now the question is, can he hold it going down this hill? And a little mistake there. You cannot afford to make that if you're looking for a top 5 on this World Cup field. This field is too stacked.
Advantage from the first heat over Gassner, 200s. It's coming down from 2300s.
7th fastest speed, but that's indicative of the track going away. We've already discussed that, but it's not going to help him. 1/4 of a second he's pulling away a little bit. 3rd fastest speed, faster than Gassner. He's going to
head up a little, but pretty decent pace. He should. Yevgeny Rukashwev takes the lead away from Alexander Gassner with 4 to go. So Gassner's best result of the season has been a 5th place. He will be no worse than 6th. And Rukashwev, his career best, a 4th place in St. Moritz in 2021. And his career best here, a 10th place.
Look at the confidence coming down the straightaway. Kicks the foot out a little bit. Great entrance into 15, 3rd fastest speed of the competition, so faster than Gassner. Gets up near the roof, but doesn't go full Blake Enzy there. Half Blake Enzy.
Doesn't go through, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Wasn't it Juan and Two-Man, it's been years ago, actually busted through the roof here?
Well, 13th World Cup race for Yevgeny Rukashwev. Looks like he is definitely going to have a comfortable personal best in Sigulda. What about Nikita Chegibov? Coach Sergei Chudinov's had plenty of races here as well in his career. What about Chudi? 1 win, 1 silver medal, and 8 bronze medals in his career of more than 50 World Cup starts, 464 getaway. He needs to find a quarter of a second to get into the medals.
First thing he's got to do is beat his teammate.
Well,
dead heat right now, and now he's back
problem,
at pit.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah, this is, he's got work to do. There's such a gap forward. He's got to start looking backward, and only the 14th fastest speed in turn 11. He's got work to do. He is back, 1200ths of a second. He's got to step on the gas in 13-14 here. We'll check the split here. It's got to be single digits, or he's in trouble. He's back 2200s. He is in trouble. 9th fastest speed. He's going to fall behind his teammate.
All right, but that's not a massive problem. He will still overhaul Alexander Tretiakov in the World Cup rankings because Tretiakov is not here. But he loses 3 spots behind Heraskevich, who is now going to be, what, third with 3 remaining? No worse than 6, Vladislav Heraskevich.
He gets some hardware. Good for Vlad.
Yeah.
Really happy for him.
Well, and that
really,
is
really hard.
That is a huge PB, 2 places better than he's ever finished. And another disappointing day at the office for Nikita Tregyubov.
Yeah, it's just not the season that was not for Tregyubov and a few other athletes. I think we're, minus the Dukers brothers, maybe seeing a little bit of a changing of the guard with the mid to upper pack. You know, the best of the rest is, there's some parity this year, which I think it's pretty exciting to see from a fan standpoint.
Well, all those years sliding with Willi Schneider advising them on their Schneider sleds, now they've got Dirk Matchens and they're using his kit, but clearly for Tregyubov, it's not been a comfortable transition. 3 to go, and we get to the first of our Dukos brothers, 40-year-old older brother Thomas. Just in case he was thinking of doing anything else. 4.62 first start, 4.60.
Nice start there from Thomas, the elder statesman on tour. Previously it was Dr. Ice, Kristen Bromley, but now it's Thomas Dukers. So he's got 1900ths advantage.
Still older than Kristen Bromley. Thomas Dukers, yeah, 2800s out, so he's growing that margin back out again over Rukashrev.
Better into 13 that time. He had a little bit of drama in the first heat. I say drama loosely. He's pulling away now 0.3 of a second, so he's stepping on the gas. He wants at least the silver here. He's sitting in bronze medal position.
Yeah.
We'll see whether he can do it. Extending out to 3400ths of a second.
Good speed as well, considering how much the track's gone away. 50.69, that guarantees him a medal. 50.67 in the first heat. So despite going, where was he, 13th in the first heat and 18th here in the second, he is making a good job of slightly slower ice conditions. He takes the lead with 2 to go. It's Dukos, Rukashrev, Gasner, Heraskevich, and 2 sliders remaining.
It's great to get a medal in front of the hometown crowd, you know, in front of your sponsors. And these guys have been at it a long time. They're consummate professionals. They know what they're doing, but it still feels good to execute a job well done in front of the hometown crowd.
You can hear the applause from the limited number of fans who are allowed into the track. Normally this place is absolutely rocking at the rafters, but because of, well, you know what, it very much is not. But Thomas Dukos leads, 2 to go. He's been the silver medalist behind brother Martins twice in the last 3 races. Are they going to do that again? Well, the man who might stop it happening is Jung Seung-gui of Korea. Fastest starter in the first heat with 4.50. The mark is now 4.43 as the start record set by Yun Cheng of China. But it's all about the medals for Jung.
4.50 matches that start time. So here we go. We're going medal hunting now. Nice looking 1 to 2. That's the, you know, been one of the trouble spots, but clips going into 4. We've seen that all night long. But he's got a 1600ths of advantage, so he has pulled away a little bit. He's got a lot of work to do, though, if he's going to catch Martins Dukers. 200s. Oh, it's coming back. Only 16th fastest speed in 11. He's in trouble. He's red numbers.
Going away.
He's going to drop.
Best result of his career. 4th place in Innsbruck, race 2 this winter. But he is dropping away. And where Thomas Dukos was 3rd fastest, he is 13th fastest. How far does he drop? Right now, behind Dukors and ahead of Rukashwev, so he is guaranteed a medal, but Thomas Dukors leads with 1 to go. Well, not a disaster, and a first ever World Cup medal for Jung Seung-hui. He will be disappointed that he didn't move up. He will be disappointed he didn't hold his position. But when he steps up onto the podium to take his first ever medal, there's a big steer. Look at that.
Yeah, having to work it a lot right there, where Thomas didn't make the same mistake twice as you would expect from somebody on their home track.
Yeah. 4th man out in the first heat. 2nd last in the 2nd heat. Again, as the changing room empties around you, it's a very different world. Matt Weston talked about that when he was leading, well, tied for the lead with Martins Dukors. He said, being alone in the dressing room with Dukors, suddenly you feel the weight of the world on your shoulders. Martins, not so much. He's been there before.
Yeah, he's
looking
done this a few
for
times.
A 4th straight win. His 60th career win awaits potentially here at home in Sigulda. He pops the groove.
He popped the groove. No.
So
now we got a race.
What can he do now? 3900ths ahead of his brother at the first split, down to 700ths.
Over. Thomas Dukors is going to win this race. There's nothing
But
Martins
where
can do
will
about it.
Martins finish?
He's got some work to do.
700ths back. He's holding on, but the speed is woeful. Even Superman has Krypton. This is going to be a Dukors family 1-2, but for the first time in my 21-year career, it is going to be Thomas who wins from Martins by 600ths of a second.
He drove it back.
What a turnaround. It is a Dukors 1-2. And for Thomas Dukors, a 2nd career win. For Martins Dukors, win number 60. We'll have to wait for another day.
2nd fastest run of the heat with a popped groove. He laid it down once he got it pointed straight. He was trying to get it back in the spur. I think no, he doesn't really do it. He's working it really hard there. That's such a helpless feeling. But yeah, I mean, arguably the best run of the...
Isn't in the right position on the sled going into turn 1, has to shuffle himself forward, get his shoulders over. Well, twice in his career, Thomas Dukors has been a gold medalist in a World Cup skeleton race, and both times it has been on home ice here. But the drama of this one, wow.
Didn't see that coming. Definitely did not see that coming.
We were definitely looking to see Martins claim that big 60th win and another family 1-2, but it's the big brother who comes out on top, ready to pick up the pieces.
You think Thomas feels bad for Martins?
Well, he does, but look at his eyes. He actually has, now he's got over the shock of it, he actually has a huge smile on his face. You know, they work together almost as twins would, but they are not twins. It is not the same organism. And Thomas Dukors, he spends so much time watching his brother win. Actually, it's nice for him to take the gold, whatever the circumstance.
Yeah, this will be a very popular win. A very popular win on the World Cup. You know, both the Dukors brothers are incredibly great guys. Great for the sport.
Yeah.
And yeah, this will be very, very popular.
And huge drama as well, you know, and it's been drama start to finish. Thomas Dukors is our race winner. Martins Dukors takes the silver, and Jung Seung-hui of Korea takes his first ever World Cup medal with a bronze. Yevgeny Rukashwev, a great run to 4th ahead of Alexander Gassner, and a huge piece